on to the next is, now that we have learned about the 4 different styles, and really I do encourage you to take the communication style assessment, and really sometimes we think one communication style is our primary, but it ends up being something else, and we learn, we have an understanding of the way we choose to communicate, and then are able to take it to the next level and learn about communicating with people whose styles are different than ours. There are some great general characteristics that once we know of them can help us build rapport more quickly and more effectively. Now, these general characteristics and tips, you can know what to focus on and how to find the differences between yourself and your listeners, but I still encourage you to remain close to your personal style. But do so whilst exploring these methods that allow you to better connect with others. This way, we guarantee that our message, our intended message, comes across authentically and effectively so that we can naturally hold people's interests. When communicating with an action-oriented person, focus on the practicality of your idea. Emphasize the tangible results that you can bring about. And if in a presentation or work setting, make sure to use visual aids. Don't drown them out in too many alternatives, rather propose a few and only the best recommendations. So the 3 tips for communicating with an action style is organize in reverse. So start with the outcomes first. Focus on those results and then outline your process for getting there after. And also, again, using visual aids is really helpful. Tip 2 is get to the point. So do be as brief as possible, state your best recommendation, and don't offer too many alternatives. And third, be practical. So emphasize the practicality of your ideas. Next, communicating with the process style. In this situation, make sure to break it all down. Then outline the information logically. Logically is the key word here. Process style is exactly that. Following the process is what's the most helpful when communicating with the style. Give them the background information first, explain the present situation, and finally go into your desired outcomes. Unlike the action-oriented person, these people like to know all the options. So you don't have to limit the recommendations that you make. It actually benefits to give pros and cons for different options. And definitely don't rush their process. So quick tips here are be precise and organized. So state the facts, organize your discussion, again, in a logical order, and outline your proposal. Explain your recommendations. So break them down and again, include the pros and cons for each to help them make a decision. And finally, again, don't rush. Give them time to review the facts and the options before they get back to you with a decision. Next, communicating with people-oriented style. Make sure in this situation that you go through the impact on relevant stakeholders. When pitching a project or solution, you can even use relatable projects from well-respected people to show that it has worked before. Oftentimes, there's no need for a fancy or formal talk. You can use an informal writing or conversation style to authentically connect with these people. For example, if you were to work in an office setting, when presenting an idea to your HR manager, map out all the teams that they're responsible for, then think of how your idea will affect these people and make sure to integrate that into your presentation. So 3 quick tips: set the tone, so allow for small talk, don't get into the discussion right away. And again, use that informal writing style or more colloquial speaking style. Support with evidence, so show how the idea has worked well in the past and indicate support from well-respected people. And finally, put people first. So stress the relationship between your proposal and all of the stakeholders. And finally, communicating with people that are the idea communication style. So here, the key word is conceptual thinking, right? Big picture thinking. Start explaining your topic and how it's connected to the bigger issue or opportunity. Then point out the unique and innovative elements in your idea and conclude by emphasizing its potential future value. A great example of an idea-oriented person is Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple. So he didn't just go on stage and talk about the new iPhone. he would go on to stage and talk about the bigger picture and how this product connects to that. So not just what it does and what it is. So if you watch his old keynote presentations, you can see the way he perceives the function of Apple products and the impact that they have on human society. So quick tips here. Tip number one, again, don't rush. It's pretty much a general rule of thumb when communicating with others. So allow time for discussion. Do not get impatient if they go on tangents, because it happens a lot. Organize your thoughts. So stress the uniqueness of the idea, especially if writing. Try to stress the key concepts that underlie your recommendation from the start. And finally, connect to the big picture and future impact. So start with the overall statement and work towards particulars. Try to relate the discussed topic to a broader concept or idea. And finally, emphasize the future value or relate that impact to the future. It's a really key thing here. Now, I know a lot of what I've said is structured in the concept of communicating in the workplace. Pitching an idea, talking about a solution that you can present to a problem. So these things really do work very well in a work setting, but I also wanted to take a moment to show you how these also apply in our day-to-day life. And with that, I'm going to bring in the help of Olivia as Olivia goes to the market. Okay. This is our example. Olivia is at the market and she's going to buy ingredients that she needs to make for dinner. She comes home and tells her friend Girgana what happened while she was at the market. Now, the important things here that she will mention that will be the same each time is that she's going to mention that she got all of the ingredients she needed from the market and that there was a long wait at the checkout. Now let's consider how she would tell the story through the context of the 4 communication styles. Olivia is the speaker and Girgana is the listener. And each of these scenarios, Olivia will be using the tips that we just discussed in order to communicate her experience at the market in the most engaging way to the listener's communication style. So example 1, Olivia comes back from the market and Girgana's communication style is action.
It took forever to get everything for dinner from the market, but I got it all. Next time, I'll go earlier to avoid the long queues of the evening post-work rush.
Thank you. Now, again, all the details are the same throughout. Example 2, Olivia comes back from the market and Girgana's communication style is process.
The market was really busy today. I managed to get everything for dinner, but the queues were very long at checkout. I guess we have a few options for avoiding this in the future. We could go to the market earlier on weekdays to avoid the post-work rush, or better yet, we could start meal planning. Then we could stock up on essentials and have to go to the market less often.
Thank you. Example 3, Olivia comes back from the market and Girgana's style is people.
You would never believe how many people were at the market just now. I felt so badly for the cashier. The queues were so long and I hope that everyone was patient for her. I got everything we need to make for dinner though.
Thank you. Finally, Olivia comes back from the market and Girgana's communication style is idea.
I think the market should rethink the flow of the aisles. I think that would really help the customers more easily find what they need and shorten the waiting times in the queues. Take me, for example. I've been there 100 times and I still get confused when looking for ingredients. I ended up walking all the aisles twice, but I did manage to find everything we need for dinner. Seems to me that everyone else at the shop found the last item at the exact same time because we all got in a queue together and had to wait.
Thank you. So I hope that this exercise showed that communicating the same information can be done to filter it and translate it to the listener's communication style so that, again, your message is received clearly to them so that you're better understood and you can also communicate more clearly and confidently. And next, a few tips to take these confidence through communication practices and make them easier for yourself. So again, taking that communication style assessment to discover your own style. Next, switch it up. So try to switch it up once you know. So if, for example, if your communication style is IDEA, take that into consideration. Think about how you would tell your partner, your coworker, your friend, your mother, your father, anyone, how you would tell them a story, and try to tell it through a different lens. Finally, connect with those around you. It's really fun, especially if you're in an office environment. It's a great way to bond with your colleagues, have them do their style assessment as well, and figure out a fun way that you can communicate more easily with each other. It's actually really fun when you get it right, because again, those characteristics that you notice about the people around you, they can really be cues. And the more you do this, the more you find out what someone's communication style is, the more naturally you can notice what those cues are, and you can automatically adapt without having to ask them, because most people don't know what their style is. And so you can see that change in conversation as well. So if you do this with your loved ones, with your colleagues, you can see if there's an improvement in understanding and how many times you go back and forth on an email, if it's clear, et cetera, et cetera. And then moving on.
Beautiful.
Thank
so
you.
Alessandra's just dropped in the chat to see if anybody has any questions. Now would be a great time to speak up. Or if you'd like, you can pop it in the chat. I want to be respectful of your time. And so, Gergana, I'm going to ask us to move past the virtual presence and make our way to our final, yes, I am statements. Beautiful. Okay, so let's finish up today by talking about positive affirmations. Positive self-affirmations are one of the most simple yet most powerful ways to build up confidence and encourage authenticity. Whether you know it or not, your perception of yourself is deeply ingrained in your subconscious. How you communicate with yourself is so important and affects your behavior in every aspect of your life. When you feel more confident, you will be more successful in the things you do. So this is a positive, ever-growing cycle, which ultimately brings you more success and satisfaction. So today, we're just going to try a few I am statements. I'm going to go ahead and say them out loud. You all are muted, so feel free to say them aloud in your space. I'm going to leave a little moment between when they come up and when I say them, for you to say them for yourself. This is for ourselves. So here we go. The first I am statement is, I am enough. Feel free to say that in your space. I am enough. I believe in my abilities. I am intelligent and capable. I am a great communicator.
And for this last one, Olivia and I do ask that if you feel comfortable, that you do unmute yourself so that we can say the last statement together. So if you feel confident and comfortable, please do unmute yourself. And here we go. Thank you very much. On the count of 3, it's going to pop up on the screen and we're going to say it together. 1, 2, 3. I am confident.
I'm confident.
Beautiful. Thank you. That one is a really, really big one. And so with that, we wanted to say thank you to everyone. We're so grateful to all of you for attending today's Lunch and Learn on how to become your most confident self. Remember that this is a process and a journey, and that everything we have discussed today is something that you can actively practice. Thank you all so much.